career mode tutorial. I've noticed a lot of tutorials, but nothing really career mode on YouTube, so this is what I'm kind of starting. I did this earlier on, but it was like almost a year since I played. I only got 3 episodes out, so I'm gonna I already completely wiped the board. I'm gonna start over again. That way, you guys will see this, and it'll all be done in real time. This is not going to be done in post editing or anything like that, so none of this stuff is going to be scripted. Okay, so I want you to see that I'm actually going to be making the names and everything, and you'll see all the um, difficulty settings, so that you know and you can emulate what's going on, and you can actually build your whatchamacallit, your program sort of like this, because everything's gonna be done in real time. You'll be able to see me actually building this. Where is my little favorite? There you are. Alright, and career mode, difficulty, allow reverting flights, allow quick loading, missing crew respawns, 2 hours. I'm not changing anything, it's just a regular normal thing. I don't want that. No stock vessels, 100% heating, 100% resource. You can change these to be more or less, same with your funds and science and reputation and everything, but I'm going to leave this as it is just so you can see it's all there. And advanced, enable Kerbal experience, which means they level up. I like to add this one, but I'm not going to add it for this setup. Allow negative funds. This will make it easier for you to actually find stuff and do stuff, but you should easily, once you get to a certain point, you'll easily be able to get a lot of funds in science, so you don't really need to worry about that. Pressure part limits. Yeah, this doesn't have it. This is just whatchamacallit, the normal settings and everything here. Okay. You could add this and make it a little bit, harder for comms and stuff. And if I want to do this, I can make it harder by removing extra ground stations, but I'm not going to right now. Basically, this will make it so that your satellite networks are actually required instead of having like a geostationary one right above the Kerbal Space Center. It's actually going to be required if you do not have this one. Otherwise, it really doesn't matter because you have multiple space stations. Okay, career mode. So sandbox is just creating whatever, anything. Science mode means you have all the buildings and you don't have to pay any money to create your rockets, but you have to unlock the science. And career is you have to upgrade stuff, you have to buy your rockets, and you have to do your science as well. So this is the hardest of the 3 modes. So we'll start this. Alright. So now that's going over. We're just loading right now. I have just the basic music and whatnot on. Right now it's going to give you this tutorial. It's saying, square for more information, X to go inside of them. Hold triangle, change your radial. If you also do triangle, you can warp the next morning, enable time warp, and select whatever it is. This is your stuff. You get your runway, spaceplane hangar. This is where your Kerbals actually live. This is where you can activate different strategies. So once you unlock all the science, you can activate a strategy so all your science turns into funds. And there's an easy way to get a bunch of science. There's a really overpowered part that I never really used until recently. It's called the science lab, but it's really overpowered for getting science and whatnot. This is your contract building. It's a very important one, especially early game. Your vehicle assembly building. Your I forget what this one is. It's your tracking stations. So yeah, I know what it did. It tracks all your stuff, and this is what your actual launch pad. So when you start out, you're going to notice you start with 25,000, 0 science, like we set up. Launch pad is right here. You can click on it, launch directly there, or you can go here, load, create, whatever. But the first and most important step you should ever go, oh yeah, if you use your right stick, left, right, up and down, you can change your view so you're not just looking at it directly. L1 and up and down is move up and down, left, right, and then you can L2 and R2. Sorry, this is PlayStation, by the way. But L2 and R2 is zoom in and zoom out or whatever. So if you want to look directly at your buildings while you're clicking on them, you can. But go here first. All right, you want to two things. You want to gather science data and launch your first vessel. Okay, these two we can get later on, but you can only have 2 contracts right now. Yeah, so you want to get those 2. Come here. So it's very important to actually do this because it's going to give you more funds when you actually do your vessels and whatnot. Okay, so just going to tell you how to do this, but you can. L3 is getting the mouse up, by the way, but L1 and forward and back is zoom in and out. Up, down, left, right is moving that. L1, let's see now. R2 up and down, left and right. Okay, so you want to do that. So first thing you want to do is I'm going to try to not use these parts, but if you have the DLCs, feel free to. I will eventually start using it because I want to build a gigantic spacecraft that gets built in flight on this eventually. But we'll just put all the parts up, and basically it'll stay in orbit. It will never launch or make it to Kerbin. But yeah. So first off, come down, move over. Your very first rocket should not really have much of anything. You're not going to have any fuel tanks. Engines is going to be this guy. Click on it. Always build your rocket top to bottom. Otherwise, the staging gets messed up. So I have the most recent DLC, so I have my Delta V readouts, which is Delta V is your change in velocity. If you know anyone that's, math, like, it's delta is change and V is velocity. So you have structural parts, command and control, robotics, which not everyone's going to have. This one right here, coupling, payload. Payload is, I think payload is still the old one, or yeah, I think so. Ground, thermal, electrical, communication, science. Cargo is another one that was added, and then utility. So your first rocket should look a lot like this one right here with mystery goo. Alright, you just need to put 2 of these things on here. Find your Kerbal. I don't like Jeb at all. So Valentina, your turn. Alright, I like Valentina. So these 3 right here were the original when you first got the game. You only had the 3 Kerbal knots. Right here, everyone else you had to hire. Which, by the way, I don't like hiring Kerbals from this, because I can get them a lot cheaper than just this. So basically, for like the price of 1, I can get 4. And I'll show you how to do that. Anyway, so Valentina is my favorite one because she is, while she's now the basic one here, she is still, a newer addition to when I first started playing this game, which I first started playing in like, I don't know, 7 years ago, 6 years ago. Anyway, so you see this right here? This is bad with the staging. What you want to do is add that. Make sure what areas you want to go first should have the higher number, so it should be counting down as you're launching out. Okay. Important little tabs right here are this right here is just your KSpedia, which needs to be removed. It doesn't have anything. Your Delta V, which tells you how much Delta V it has here in a vacuum. So my Delta V went up a little bit. You can go to different planets and bodies and figure out how much Delta V you actually have. But we're going to stay with Kerbin right now because it's where we're at. Right here, this tells you actually what's wrong, how many parts, mass, everything. Alright, so it says cannot transmit science unused monopropellant. Well, you know, we can't use monopropellant, so we'll come here by pressing square and just drag all the monopropellant down. That'll give us a little bit more delta V. If you notice the difference in delta V, 748 and 732, so just a little bit more. But I really don't care about that. Cannot transmit science. Well, I don't have any communication stuff to actually transmit it, and that doesn't really matter. So you'll have your basic stuff. This is something that's concerning. This is something that could potentially be deadly with the rocket. You do have height, weight, width, length, part limits. As you do the building, your parts limits will go up, and I think the height, width, and length as well. And as you do the launch pad, your mass limits will go up. Okay, this is your contracts. Tells you exactly what you need to do, gather science, whatnot. These are your controls, which I actually need to look at something for time lapse. Well, it tells you exactly what's going on. So, yeah. So this is moving the cursor. R1 rotates. Clone hierarchy means doing exactly that, creating exactly what you already had. Okay. Focus part, so R1 and triangle. No clue what that did. Yeah, it shows you exactly what you're doing in here. And this right here is your completed tasks and whatnot. So very important one to have up is right here. And then this one right here. These two are your two most important, and then your controls you can take a quick look at. But these two are your two most important actual tabs. Right here is place, so you can place the actual parts. This is move, so if I click on it, I'll have my little arrows. I can move it out and move it like that, but I want it exactly where I had it, so rotate can make it so it rotates the actual part with whatever I want it. And then reroute, this one right here, I can make the entire thing controlled by this. So now I can take and get rid of that entire thing, and that parachute is now the main part of the ship. Okay? Which is actually something bad, because I can't do that. Alright, so back over here. Pods. Utility. Anyway. Engines. So basically these are the only things you're going to have is that, which by the way you can change. You're not always going to be able to change the color, because the older versions won't. But yeah, you can change the color and science. So these are the important things you're going to want to do. Oh yeah, triangle brings up this right here. You can set the what type of radial undo last, change symmetry, angle snap, which I actually use sometimes, overlays. So we can do center of mass, center of thrust, aerodynamic center. It tells you where stuff is. That's not really that important for the, in here. It's more important for the space plane hangar stuff. But then you're here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. If I want 8 of these things, I can do that. If you press triangle, you can still move it, but if you press circle, it places it. But I only want 2. And the reason why I want 2, even though I only need 1, is because I want to have this thing pretty well centered. Whatnot. So I don't have to worry about, or aerodynamically centered, so I don't have to worry about the stuff moving, which honestly, it's not going to be doing much. Then you take my Kerbals again, make sure I have the right crew on there, because I recreated the craft. And we'll press start, hit launch. I did say we're going to go into the moon in this video, so that will be happening, however long it actually takes. But So what we want to do, I always like, so you got more tabs here. This is your staging. I don't really need the staging up. I want to go to maneuver mode all the time. Well, I don't need it right now, but when I'm trying to get to orbit and whatnot, just have our apoapsis, or highest point, and parapsis, lowest point. These down here are going to be your times 2, and this is your period right now, which is how long it takes to go a complete circle. This right here, advanced orbital info, this will tell you your angles you're orbiting at, and approach will be basically like this, except it's your closest to target by point 1, closest to target point 2, and time to target over here. Right here is your map, which you can also press by pressing L1 and R1. Alright, L1 and up and down, forward and back to that, moving left, moving right, up and down without it. Can't really do L2 and R2. Down is throttle all the way down, up is throttle all the way up. L1 and down is you're toggling your throttle. So right here's your height, you can recover it, space center, lights, landing gear, brakes, time since launch and whatnot. This is your saying you have full crew. You always want that green. If it's yellow or red, then it means that's not good. This right here, this is your communications to Kerbal, the KSC. This is saying that we have a this is where you can have, like, if you're transmitting, and this right here is your path, so it's directly to. Sometimes if you have satellite relays, you'll have your relay set up so that you can just go. It'll be a relay here instead of directly, because you won't necessarily be able to go direct. Circle is SAS. L1 in circle is RCS. L1 in square is brakes. Squares. L1 in square is landing gear. Square is brakes. We won't need RCS because we don't have any monopropellant stuff. Right here, this is your, again, completed. This is how much resources you have. Your solid fuel, electric charge, monopropellant. Controls, which I actually need if I have my time warp, because I don't know how to time warp up without actually coming up here and just pressing the arrows. Fly a vessel, EVA, so exactly how to move stuff, and that's just, yeah, it's not going to actually teach me stuff. If I press all 4, it'll abort the mission. L1, L2, R1, R2, I never use that. Zoom, move camera, toggle, internal view, move cursor, select part, open, part action, precise mode, precision mode, exit cursor mode, focus window, switch between windows, stability assist. You can also come in here. I never use triangle, but yeah. Roll, it tells you everything how you do it. To lock the stages so that you don't accidentally press L1 and X, and then you come over here, and that means you can't. I can press X all I want to try to go to the next stage, but it's not going to do anything. Okay. Activate stages X, which, so this is your docking mode. So if I press X here, it'll swap between linear and rotation modes, control modes. Toggle brakes, toggle SAS, RCS, SAS mode. Walk around, yeah, so that's that stuff. This is your contracts again. This is how much money and science and stuff you have. This is your delta V, so if you click here and you click show all, it'll bring up your actual thrust to weight ratio, which you always want above 1. Whenever you're actually having this stuff here, which we have a 6.6, which is really high. Not necessarily, but you'll see this thing accelerate really fast. It takes 9 seconds, total 9 seconds to go up and then burn out. And then if you can hide all, you can also add your ISP, your thrust, how much thrust it actually has, your starting mass, your ending mass. This is what it can look like originally. I don't care about most of this stuff. I just want those 3. And that's what I like to see. Okay, right here is getting the thing that no longer exists and needs to be removed. Anyway, I like having this one right here open. So what you want to do right away is come here, press square, observe, keep, over here, observe, keep, EVA, right, square on her, EVA report, keep, store, board, crew report, keep, EVA. Alright, it's kind of important to do this. Take data and store. And now, turn on SAS and just hit go. I want to go into the water when we're doing this, so go towards 90 because that's the best, most accurate way to move. So you notice we've already, burned out, but this will make it a lot easier and a lot better for us in the long run. So come this way, go up as high as you can, and yeah, you can put a lot more boosters on here. You do the entire 30, and I guarantee you'll make it to orbit, but I guarantee you're not going to, or you can make it up high enough if you stage it right. If you stage right, you can make it to orbit, but you're not gonna. I doubt you're gonna actually recover because you'll have to have enough. You can't decouple anything right now, so you'll have to have enough parachutes, and yeah, it can be a pain. But yeah, all we need to do is fly it a little bit. Point this retrograde so that it burns off speed. Make sure this is on surface, and then I will release my parachute because I want to. So yeah, this little circle with the lines going outside of it is retrograde. The other circle, the yellow one, is prograde. Prograde means direction you're heading. Retrograde means you're facing against the direction you're heading. Crew report. I should have waited and done stuff over here. Been a little bit more efficient. Could have added more of these guys. Actually, reset. Observe, flying over. Alright, remove SAS because I don't need it anymore. Just a waste. I can't EVA right now because we're not on curved surface. Well, that should be basically your first flight. Splashing down. Oh man. And then we had what, 25,000 when we started this. Okay. Go up here. EVA. So if you didn't collect that data, you would have whatchamacallit, not been able to do another whatchamacallit, crew report. So now we're splashed down. I can do another crew report because I just took it and boarded. So now I have 5 here and then 2, so I have 7 events. Over here, recover vessel, and it'll take you to this screen. It's really all you needed to do for your first one. You'll get a decent amount of science for it, at least for this. But so we have 40 science now. We have 144,000 funds now because we did our contract and we got stuff back and we did milestones. So right here we got I hate this stupid thing. I don't like seeing that number there. So we did our gather science, got 4,000 from that. These are our where we got most of our money. Is our first, missions and whatnot. This is our achieving the goal for launch. Launch our first vessel in gathering science. Okay, so now we'll come here to your science place. Get advanced rocketry because you want fuel. You're gonna want, right here's a larger booster, fuel and whatnot. And down here, this is your science, some more science with coupling and stuff. And now we have 30 science left, so we have a 20, an 18, and a 15. Always go for this one right here, okay? Because it's going to have your better parachutes, heat shields, something to make stuff more aerodynamic, and more science stuff. So we're getting 2 more extra science things just from that. So we still have 15 left. We have 18 and 20, and that is where we're going to be at right now, okay? So our next rocket, if we do this right, should be able to go. I messed up. I have been a lot better at this, but I messed up right there. So now we can come over here, escape atmosphere, and orbit. Alright, so we should be able to do both those with just this. But what we want to do now is here, 50,000 to upgrade that. Get a larger launch pad. To do it again is 282,000, which we don't have. Right here is 225,000. We can deal with having less parts. We want more weight capabilities, because I never really go over the part count. I always go over the weight count. Okay, so first off, let's take this. Bye-bye. Okay, come over here. Very important, if you're going to orbit, put an ablator on your craft. If you don't, what will happen is your craft will explode. I'm not joking. These are overpowered. I don't need 2 ablators. I just like having 2 ablators. But over here, go to coupling, add this guy. Alright, so now the staging. So right now it's going right. Fuel tanks, never stack more than 3 of these. I actually like that one. Never stack more than 3 of these at a time. You'll see it'll get a lot janky and stuff like that. Now I can do that. Let's see. So we need roughly, so if we go here, delta V to vacuum, about 1,000 there. Let's do this. Coupling. Alright, so you're going to want your craft a little bit lighter. Alright, so do that. And like I said before, I never really go over the weight limit, but this should be enough delta V to get me into orbit. See if I have anything aerodynamics to help me a little bit more. Alright, yeah, so down here, just some tail fins for stability. So at 19 parts, this should get me to orbit. I could add another smaller stage there, but this should be fine for getting me to orbit. So I've got 1,600 meters per second there, and another 1,200 there, so roughly 2,800 meters per second delta V. That should be good. Alright, now come over here, science. So now this one right here is going to go right here, and we'll go with 2 again. This one right here is going to go right here, which will go with 2 again. And then we're going to go with 4 of these. Right there. So now this lower stage is going to get completely demolished. Because it is, whatchamacalliting, not going to actually make it. So I have to make sure to gather all this. I can't go EVA right now, so I need to keep it up here and keep 2 of them. Okay. I forgot I can't go EVA yet. I'll have to update something else. But this right here should, in theory, get us to orbit. We'll see. And I forgot to change my Kerbal. I might not have had to. So, we'll see. Some people like to use quick save and quick loading, and I have Valentina. That's fine. But I don't like to quick save, quick load. I prefer whatnot. Like, I hardly ever use it. I'll redo the entire craft in order to make sure it works and has enough delta V. So, log temperature, log pressure, EVA, take data, always remember to take the data, board, and we will go in 3, 2, 1, go. Let's start slowly moving like that. Alright, so I don't really have much SAS control right now. So my SAS wheels are kind of weak for this thing. Get rid of that lower stage. We don't need it anymore. So right now we're at about 29. Oh, went a little bit too janky with that. Alright, let's go this way. Whoop. Whoop. I messed that up. Can I save it? Can I save it? I don't think I can. I'm not going to make it to orbit in this one, but it is what it is. But I can get pretty... I can escape the atmosphere, which I want to observe that mystery goo as we're at right now. Log temperature as we're at right now. Log pressure as we're at right now. So I didn't have enough delta V to actually do anything. I can't even escape. I'm not even escaping the atmosphere right now. So, crew report. Keep experiment. Separate. Sorry, 63,000. Which we should be able to get one more set of science from the 63,000. Whoop. But yeah, so we'll make it to the moon in this video. Like I said, everything right here is playing at real speed, so you guys should be able to catch up. I don't like time warping when I am in the atmosphere. I've had lots of bad experiences with that. So whenever I'm in the atmosphere, it's going to be actual speeds. Let's see. So again, we have another thing we completed, which wasn't one of our tasks to do, but it is something. because we have our tasks of escaping the atmosphere and whatnot. Alright, so now we're up here. I should be able to do that. Observe, keep, log, keep, log, keep. Alright, now what we're going to want to do is go to retrograde so that our blader hits the stuff, because we're going to be speeding up right now with this speed. And a good word of advice when you have something this small, if you're not going about, I don't know, 1500 to 1000 meters per second, but at this point my mouse cursor's on, you're going to crash and you're not going to have enough time to slow down unassisted. So you want to kind of speed going that speed by this point right here. If not, your Kerbal's not going to survive. Oh, and if I Kerbal dies and or something, I'm not going to reload this entire thing. We'll just, yeah, live and move on. So this is my favorite Kerbal. I'll be using Valentina a lot, mostly because of she's the original Kerbal, but not the original 3, but also because she's crazy. And all the other Kerbals, when they're at this point, they're freaking out, and she looks like right now she's having the time of her life. So I like it. So we have our reheating effects right now. Let's see. So so we're still speeding up right now, but we won't be for long. Now we're slowing down again now. So at about 1,000 by right here, you'll be fine. So we're 1,000 and 1,500. So yeah, we got plenty of slowdown time. You don't want to have it too angled, because if you do, you'll start getting temperature gauges read up, and that will cause a lot of issues. I don't like dropping my parachute till I'm about 10,000 meters, but you can do it a lot, sooner than 10,000 meters. You can do it as soon as that thing goes to white, which should be about, now. So as soon as it goes from red to white, you can release it, but I don't like releasing till about 10,000. I'm going to go for about 4,000 now, because it still doesn't matter. It'll release at 1,000. But if I'm going over water, as long as you're about 2,000 when you're releasing it, you should be fine. But if I'm over land, I go 10,000. I'm going to go with 4,000 right now, because that's a number I like. So stuck like about 1,200 to actually deploy the chute, and then release SAS. Something I can do to make our speed drop a little bit faster is jettison heat shield. So now we slowed down a little bit because we're carrying less weight. We still have the same surface area. And yeah, we're dropping right now. So if you had G-forces on, you'll have to pay attention to this G-force sensor right here. So if it gets up here, your Kerbals might pass out, you might lose control, or they might die, kind of stuff. But if you don't have G-forces on, don't worry about this gauge right here. So right here, we just hit with about 1-2 G's. So we got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, so they're in increments of 1, and then -5 over here. And there's that. We already have a EVA report, so we can just recover the vessel from the water. Now we should be getting more because we have better stuff. I was optimistic we'd make it to orbit, but we didn't make it. So we got another 40 science. We have 60 science now. Another 5,000 funds. And we'll come back here. And nope, sorry, wrong one. Messed up again. Come back to the tracking station, the science area, and unlock more science stuff. So that way we can build better rockets. So we'll come over here. Better fuel, better engine. Yes. Um, this will allow us to bring more crew, but I don't care about that right now. Better aerodynamics. This one right here, yes, because now I can get rid of stuff off the sides, which is actually very useful. And then we'll come down here, because this one right here is a very powerful, gives you a lot of science. This is good because it allows you to store science. I don't care, that's a probe core, radiators. This is your first relay. Do not build a relay out of this thing, because you'll just be getting rid of it right away anyway. Alright, unless you're going like to the MUN. Even then, there's better relays you could use for a MUN relay. Like this one right here would be perfect for a MUN relay. The other one, it might not have enough strength just to get back to Kerbin. But yeah. So I'll show you the part that we actually want to get to. The very best, most OP part in the game is right here. Mobile processing labs. Basically, if you didn't turn on your Kerbals automatically level up, they can level up with this thing. The science you get from performing science, not back. It takes a bit while, but you get a lot more. So something that would give me 100 science on my older save one that I deleted before because I got pissed off because the game glitched and killed Valentina. Well, it gave me 1,000 science for something that bringing it back would give about 60. So, yeah. So this is your most OP part in the game, is right here. So we'll want to get, which actually we're not very far away from. So, look at this one. We'll want this one right here for stability assistance. So we'll basically, the one we don't need out of this is this one right here, because this is right now. Because this right here is just for airplanes, which I never have any luck building airplanes or landing airplanes unless I have a fully upgraded runway. So I have issues with that, and I don't know how to do that. But yeah, you should get everything else. If you want to build space planes with this one. That's fine. But yeah, this one right here should be your next one after you get these 3 set up. So you have better rockets, better control, side decoupling, and everything like that. Come back here. So now, same rocket. We do this. Get rid of this. We don't need it. So now that has 1,000 in itself. And now engines. This is the 205 and 167. This one's a swivel, which is that one. We want that one. No, wait, we want that one there. Alright. So, get rid of that. Bye-bye. Command and control, we have nothing yet. Structural, we have fuel tanks. That's what I wanted. Yes, big old orange guys. So now this one right here, this should get me into orbit as is, but I'm not going to go with as is. I am going to go with coupling. Make sure I don't go over my parts count or weight, which I'm not going to go over either. guys. Go with 3 of these. Move this guy. Like I said, we want these to right there. Fuel tanks. Alright. Now we should engines. Now in a vacuum, this thing has 2100. Alright, so aerodynamics. If I get rid of you guys, we'll have and add you guys. This should have enough delta V to get to orbit. If not, I'll have to get different fuel tanks. Could also... Oh, I got it. I know what I can do. Put that guy there. And that guy there. So that gives me an extra 3. Which means I can do this. And now I got more than enough delta V to get to orbit. And if I go here, click show all, my TWR above 1. Let's put those 3 there, that one there. TWR is above 1. I have 1 extra part I can have. So if I were to actually want to do this, that's what I wanted. Alright, so concerning. Alright, electrical communications. Aha, there's my 1 part I can add. By up and down, left and right, move that. Like that. Boom. My 30 parts. A rocket that should make it to orbit now. Should. Not necessarily guaranteed. But let's launch. It'll definitely escape the atmosphere, but not 100% sure if it's going to make it to orbit. But I should get a lot of money from this one. So SAS on. Do that. Alright, yeah, I'm going up with the booster. Let's put our throttle about right there, because I think that's all the more I'll need. I mean, I guess there was a one way I would have been able to do this a little bit better. Oh yeah, that's way more force than I need. So you want to go slower when you're heading up initially, because you don't want the drag to be messing with you too much and slowing you down. Once you get up to the higher levels, you want to be, yeah, going fast enough at the higher levels. Did I need that one booster? No, I did not. And I attacked this at too hard an angle. But like I said before, revert flight. Let's just go launch. I don't like quick save and quick loading. I like reverting all the way back. That way if something messes up, I can try to fix it. But what I can do now is change this up a little bit the way I went, and it's just a little bit. It's not going to actually be a whole lot changed, but yeah. So if we look at my electric charge, it's going down a little bit, but not really a whole lot. I want this about 50 before I start turning. Then start my gravity turn. 90 is the best way to take off because they all spin in that direction. So you're getting free delta V. If you go 270, then you're effectively losing out on some free delta V. Alright, so I know what I need to do. Revert to vehicle assembly. See, sometimes you'll mess up a lot. I've done this a lot. I've gotten to orbit a lot, but I normally have SAS wheels up here. Something we can do to mitigate that is, if you look, this is the one we have down there right now, but it doesn't have a gimbal. This one right here has a gimbal, which means the nozzles move to try to fix deflection. Okay, so just changing that. Yeah, these they also have less thrust than what the other ones had, but with that gimbal, it'll be a lot easier to control and will prevent it from actually tipping over as much. These things don't have very good gimbal, but it's enough that it should keep me from tipping over like that. So you notice I had the staging wrong there. Good thing is you can change the staging when you have while you're at the whatnot. But I want that guy right there, that guy right there, and SAS. Show me my fuel. So these things are a little bit heavier than the other engine was, but I want that gimbal, that gimbaling ability. Yeah, the gimbal is extremely important because I don't know if you've noticed it yet, but the nozzles should be. See how the flames are moving now? That's because of the gimbal. That gimbal is going to help prevent the the ship from moving a bad way. Alright, that will keep the thrust a certain way, make it easier to move the craft. Oop, don't want to go too far that way. Alright. So we don't necessarily want to go there. We can do that. So you see this heat gauge that popped up? It's because we were going too fast. You want your apparatus right around 100,000. You're going into orbit. When you're ascending through the atmosphere, make sure you're staying near your prograde. So this has plenty of delta V, so I should be able to, once we get there, get to an orbit. Now what you want to do is get your orbit set to, your apparatus set to 70,000, because that's your minimum, at least 70,000. But your apparatus, 100,000. Closer you are to Kerbin's atmosphere, or the atmosphere, or the body you're going to be going to, the better. But not necessarily required. Alright, so see this? Now we can come here. We're above the atmosphere. I can come to here and do that. And aim down a little bit. Up a little bit. Watch my delta V. Alright. Do I think we'll make it? Doubtful. But we are pretty close. Now, could I have done this a little bit better? Yes. Alright. Let's go ahead and turn the time warp back off. Get rid of SAS because I don't want it right now. Let's see if we can make it into orbit. Alright, so 245,000 is our apparatus. You'll want to do your burns near apparatus. So here's our craft hiding. And we made it to orbit. So now we have 70,000, we have 3 meters per second, which means we can get away from orbit. That's where we're going to sit. So we are in orbit right now. We'll want to turn our SAS off so we're not using any. Observe the goo. So this is review data. Space near Kerbin. No, I want to keep that data. Observe. Keep. Log. Keep. Observe. I know I'm double dipping into the same science, but keep. Log. Keep. Crew report. Keep. So now if I go here and go retrograde, 66,000, which is far enough for us to capture. And then hit space at retrograde and 65,000. We made it to orbit in just an hour. So now we can use our time warp as much as we want to, because it'll automatically go to single once we get to our Kármán line, or 70,000. And you don't want too deep a ascent in, because if you don't, then what can happen is, whoop, you're actually going to, if you come in too steep from your orbit, then what can happen is you will end up not slowing down fast enough. You see how my apoapsis is dropping, even though my perapsis is higher. Could I have done this a lot better? Yes, I could have, 100%. But I didn't. Which goes to show that even if you've been playing this game for years, you're gonna more than likely mess up somewhere. Yeah. Sorry, I don't have much I can say right now. Anyway, sit still. The way you want it is keep it in your perapsis, or this one right here. I'll be able to show you what apoapsis looks like, which hopefully you guys have saw. It's the one with the lines running parallel and one going up and down, or one going up but not going down. That's your prograde. And then you want this one, retrograde. Oh man. And then comes the, actually, because I messed up the ascent, the actually boring part of watching this thing slowly descend into a better thing. Now, some people go like that and have better luck, but if you notice, I'm actually decreasing like that. And if I do this, nothing else happens. But yeah, so just waiting out to get above the 70,000 so I can time warp again and turn off SAS, time warp around. And I'm just pressing X constantly until I can get this. I will figure out one of these times. I'll do research and figure out what increase and decrease time warp is and whatnot. Or if you guys want to comment what it is, if you happen to know it. I want that right there. And then increase. So this should drop our apoapsis very fast. Right there. And yep, dropping very fast. Oh man, I really don't like this part, especially when I mess up like that. I could have had a lot better descent in if I would have been paying attention to my apoapsis and just my perapsis. There's that. No, it doesn't automatically go against you or whatnot. Now, when we land, Valentina, she will become level 1, which will help me out a lot better, a lot more, because I'll be able to do hold prograde, retrograde, instead of just holding it as to whatever. Now, if we had had a actual science lab on here, which whatnot, it would be a lot better. Light movements, light movements. So I'm actually pretty decent at barely moving the left stick anymore. Not because of playing this game, but playing Call of Duty. I have my sensitivity rather high compared to some of my friends, and that allows me to turn a lot quicker. But I also have slow motion turning as well, pinpointed down, so I just barely tap, and I can slowly move the scope or iron sights or whatever. I like, honestly, with it, the thermal optic, because it lets me see through smoke, and not a lot of people that I've noticed use the thermal optics to see through smoke. Most people just use iron sights and lasers, so that gives a decent advantage over those guys. If you have smoke grenades and if you have, a place where you can actually look down sights. Now, if you're playing on shipment or, yeah, you're kind of SOL because you're just running around at that point just killing people. Like, that's the only purpose of shipment, is just to kill people and run around in circles and get pissed off by the cancerous rocket launchers everywhere. BS. But yeah. So I'm slowly decreasing my apparatus. This has already gone down about 6,000 each time. I'm sorry, this takes forever. Normally, in my other video, I had this stuff like time-lapsed faster and stuff like that, because I can do that. I can increase the speed, then save the clip, then increase the speed again. But I normally mess up that on my first orbit of the save. Oh, man. And look at that, almost 20,000 dropped. So 20,000. 6 more revolutions and I should be able to capture or land. Which is, Kerbal's already been in space 2 hours doing this in Kerbal time. Valentina is a valuable member of the space program. I like her being the highest ranking pilot, so she always does all the first stuff. Now, if you had auto level up, she would have had her prograde or retrograde hold right here already. But she doesn't. So, or I don't. So that's why that's not working right. So you notice how my paralysis was at 65, now it's at 64. It is dropping down some. Now watch, I'm going to do this and it's going to mess up and I have to revert back to launch for whatever reason. But yeah. Oh. Getting out of that. So the reason why I have to keep on moving this up to here is because the SAS is keeping it relative to the surface, its position relative to the surface. But the retrograde is going to be oscillating between negative 10 and 10 degrees on the 270, roughly. Matters what position I'm on. So, yeah, because I have a decently high whatnot. So you notice that I'm starting higher and higher and higher. It means that the point I'm entering the atmosphere is getting higher or sooner than it was before. So about 20,000 again. Most of my slowing down happens actually when I am at this point, when I'm actually starting to raise back up into the outer atmosphere and it back into space. And the reason for that is because I am, as I'm gliding through an aero braking, which is what this maneuver actually is an aero brake. What's happening is I don't have a lot of resistance up here the higher up I go, but which is, I'm higher up when I'm wherever I'm at. But the thing is, I am, what's the word I'm looking for? I am, slowing down as well as slowing down with drag. So as I'm coming down, I'm speeding up because of gravity. But as I'm going away, I'm slowing down because gravity is slowing me down. But it's also added in with the drag and everything of slowing me down. So that's why you lose more speed heading back up out than you do coming in. I normally put auto level up on my save files because I just like it a lot better, but it's not required because I can show you what will happen. But yeah, see this SAS, there's going to be two more when I get back down. There's one here and one here that are going to be prograde, retrograde. Then when she gets level 2 stars, there'll be 2 more below that, or 4 more below that. And once she gets to 6 stars, 3 stars, she'll have all of the maneuver holds. I don't know what a level 4 or 5 does, but we will figure that out. Because, oh yeah, just so you know, I have made it to an Eve flyby, and I have landed on the Mun Midmus and returned from the Mun Midmus. I have gone to an orbit, landed on Ike, and gotten back from Ike. Obviously, orbit of Duna if I've made it to Ike. But I have also landed on Duna, but I've never actually returned from Duna without cheating. And when I say cheating is, I used to play this on the computer. I would quick save, open up the save data, and then change the fuel to be the actual fuel for max fuel, or I would change and put my ship in orbit with the fuel I had on, or there was a lot of little things I would be able to do in order to force me to be able to return from Duna, but I've never actually successfully returned from Duna. And I don't know why I don't, but I don't really use parachutes going into Duna. I use just basically the rocket thrusters and whatnot. And that's about that. But yeah. Alright, so whenever you're landing on a body, you always want to try to land on the light side. I know I don't really have much control over it right now. And that's because, well, I have no power. I can't adjust my orbit. But and I don't know if you noticed this, but I don't do the most efficient of ascents. Um, there are people that would have probably been able to make it to a much higher, already landed this. Matt Lown is the person I like to watch for it, but he does mostly science mode. So basically, it's the same thing as us, except he doesn't have to worry about money. His stuff's already fully uploaded and whatnot. I learned a lot of playing this game from watching him because I learned a lot just playing the game and learning it and whatnot. But then I learned a lot more about arrow braking and stuff like that from watching him, and gravity assist, which I'll go over. Um, Making relays, space stations, just building using the offset and the rotate tools because I never really used that before. Um, that's all stuff I learned from him. So if you guys don't like my heavy breathing, because I know this is going to have my heavy breathing, I'm sorry. I just have a naturally heavy breath. It's not because I'm fat. I mean, I am fat, but I'm not like morbidly obese fat. I'm like fat though, but it's not because of that. I've always had it. I was 120 pounds in high school, and I still had my heavy breathing. It's just something I've always had. Um, but yeah, so sorry. An hour into the video before it takes me to apologize for my breathing you're going to hear. So if you don't want to hear that, you'll probably have a better chance watching one of his videos, or you just watch to see how it goes through, how I do a career mode playthrough. So if you notice, I didn't time warp up this time, so we should be either this one or next one actually capturing and landing. And I don't like having time warp going when I'm actually trying to land, because that makes it much more difficult. It's a lot easier to do your fine controls. So, so when we were doing other stuff, I was jumping all the way from barely touching this thing, going all the way up to that 20 degrees north, 20 degrees up, 20 degrees down. Yeah. I don't like it because trying to do these controls like this messes with it. That and the computer said one of the first things that your time warp mess with physics sometimes, and I can attest to that actually happening. We're definitely capturing now. I can tell you that much right now. But I back to my messing with the physics engine of this game. Um, Normally you want to land your craft at 10 meters per second or slower in order to prevent your craft from breaking apart. I've landed with 4 times at 4 meters per second, and it destroyed my entire craft. Which, if you land at 4 meters per second, you're under normal circumstances, you're not going to destroy your craft. All right. So you notice we're going up right now, but we will eventually start heading back down again. Oh, we're still going down, but yeah. And now we are going. Oh, by the way, this is your vertical speed. I forgot to mention that. So, 1,000. Anything above here means you're going above 1,000 meters per second vertically. Right now we're doing about 0.1 meter per second up. This little light right here tells you if you're going slow enough to actually land, which is anything 10, 12 meters per second, right around 10 to 12 meters per second downward, you're going to have this light on, which means you're going too fast to actually land. When you're actually landing, you're going to want this guy right here on surface. So you can just click on it and it'll swap from orbit to surface. There's one more mode, but you're not going to ever get it unless you have your target or something targeted. And that'll be your speed relative to the target. So it'll say target on there. But you see we're going up right now. But our apparatus is still dropping. It should get to set below 70,000. If it doesn't, then we're definitely capturing on the next one. But we should, because we're at 63,000 and we're almost at 75,000 right now. Sorry, I gotta get up and sit on my actual chair, grab some water. Because talking for an hour 20 non-stop almost, is not good. I don't know how people do this constantly. But yeah, we got this. This is not really a game that a lot of people will get or like because it's not really have a story mode to it. There's no definitive you won the game by doing this goal. You can say, yeah, I won the game by unlocking entire tech tree, or I won the game by going to every planet. But you're not going to get a game over you win from doing either of those. It's just something. This isn't really a game that has an end. Like, you really hope life just doesn't have an end. This is something you have to. You can create stories in your mind and create missions in your mind and do that. Like, I know Matt Lonergan, he does movies with Kerbal Space Program. He does his. I wish he brought it back, but he doesn't do it anymore. But it was his Blunderbirds, where he would, because he has a computer, he can just take someone's save file and play it. He'd build a ship, go and rescue Kerbals that are stranded on other bodies. Stuff like that. So, as we do play this game more, we'll end up going into every single building that we have here. So, you really don't need to go through any of the buildings, except for the ones that I'm going through. If you want to look at them all, go for it. I'm not judging. At the end of the day, this is your game. So you guys do as you guys do. If you guys want to start out with $1 million, start out with $1 million. Start out with enough science to unlock the entire tech tree, do it. You can do that. I like starting out where the game sets me. You can also set this up to hard, which increases the heating effects and decreases the amount of money you have, decreases science rates and that kind of stuff. But most people are going to tackle this at normal. So I've tried it at hard once, and once it was like one flight, and I was like, I'm done because everything was starting to overheat. And yeah, I play this game too fast to be playing it on hard mode. And your Kerbals don't respawn after they die on hard mode. Yeah. Yeah, no. I'll stick with normal. If you ever do decide, you can always come here. If you want to change your settings, you can change your difficulty options and everything, but I'm not going to change it. Let's see. Yeah, we're coming down now. So you see we're at 66,000 perhaps. This means we're in the atmosphere of 70,000. Perhaps this is obviously the lowest point, so it's going to be below apoapsis. So we're still slowing down. It's like I said, this is a slow drag. This is the boring part. This and waiting on your ship to actually get to maneuver nodes that you make when you're doing interplanetary stuff. Those are the boring parts of the game. So, yeah. So how much money does it say we have? Because we have 322,000. So, just so you know, each planet or whatnot has different biomes. You can find biome maps where stuff is rather easily. Just Google it, and you should be able to bring it up. But yeah, um, see now we were heading back up. We're at our apparatuses now. We should be heading back down again. Just so you guys know, this 2,286.2 meters per second. If you want to figure out how fast that is in miles an hour, it's not that hard. 2,285.9 now. Times that by 3.3, because there's 3 feet 3 inches. Or is it 3 foot 3 inches or 3 foot 4 inches? Oh, let's do 3 foot 4 inches. No, it's 3.3. 3 foot 3 inches. So times that by 3.3 again. Or sorry, divided by 3.3, divided by 3. Divided by 0.3. Hold on, do this here. 2284.6 times 3.4. All right, that's 7,767.64 feet per second. Times that by 60. That's 466,000. Never mind. Times that again by 60 to get times it feet per hour. Divide that by 5,280, and that's 5,296 miles per hour, which is pretty fast. So yeah, that's how fast this ship is going right now. Is 5,000 miles an hour. Pretty darn fast. Let's see. I doubt anyone's watching this while I'm recording it, but if there are, thank you for watching. If you're watching it later on, thank you. This is a this is gonna be a fun little video. Sorry, I don't really have much to say. I'm kind of newer at doing these things, especially live streams. Normally, like when I was doing these before, I would script out in my head what I was going to say and then retake about 3 or 4 takes before I actually got what I was about to say, listen to it back, hear my breathing, and then do it again, so that I can try to mitigate my actually heavy breathing. But that's all. Yeah, it's all pretty difficult to do. Anyway, so what I can do is speed this up a bit until I get to a decent part. 'Cause honestly, I don't like waiting that much. I really don't. I'm a patient person, but I'm also an impatient person. Like, alright. So that camera flip means that we are now no longer on an orbital. We've been on suborbital for a while, but it's the game recognizing that we're no longer on an orbital path and not in an actual circle. I don't know where the highest point is on Kerbal. I actually look that up right now, so I can. Kerbal highest mountain. That's a YouTube video on them climbing it. 6 kilometers, 6,764 meters, which is actually smaller than the moon's, because the moon's highest mountain, or Mun's highest mountain, is 7,062 meters. So, well, that's 7,062. This is 6,000. Yeah, by 300 meters. So, yeah. And what's min misses? Min misses highest mountain is 5,200 and 5,725 meters. Alright, so you see it's starting to glow red, that heat shield. See my ablator is starting to go down more. It's because it's getting rather hot. So you notice I'm actually slowing down too. So if I had auto level up, I wouldn't have to be doing this, moving the actual stick. I would just click on retrograde right here, and Valentino would do it automatically. But because I don't have that, we have to do it this way. And there is our fire effects for the game. Because we are going through the atmosphere, what causes this is actually friction with the air. The air, it's like if you take your hand and rub your arm real fast, it heats up rather quickly. Basically, it's the same thing. If the ship is running through the air, the molecules of the air, whatever it is rubbing up against the ship, and then it's heating up. And that's what's happening there. Now normally you walking through the air isn't going to make it heat up and burn your body at all, really at all. That's because you have a lot higher mass than the actual air does. We're about to lose our science, our mystery goo containers in here. That's because they extend out past the ship sides. Oh well, looks like we are losing some science. You'll hear them explode soon. I'm actually surprised they're not exploding yet. Am I cooling down fast enough for them to not explode? I am actually cooling them down some. Yeah, but you see they're reading at 1700 right now. Meters per second. 1600 meters per second. 1500 meters per second. Yeah, this right here should land without any issues now on Kerbin. Unless I mess up my, we got to keep them. So now, an easy way to make you slow down faster is to expand your surface area. So if I were to be going nose first or the parachute first, not only would the parachute explode from the heat, but it would also well, that's actually the game. I'm hearing effects in the. I don't normally wear headphones when I'm playing this game, so I'm hearing these wind effects and whatnot for the first time, actually just directly in my ear instead of. It actually sounds like a rumbling of a, aircraft on the base not far from here. So highest peak is 7,000 meters, which I've got. So when I'm flying over land or in the middle of the dark, I'm going to use 10,000 meters as my parachute deployment height. But if I know I'm going to be landing in water, which looks like I am now because I can sort of see the blue around me. Looks like I'm in the middle of an ocean right now. I could have waited till... Yeah, I'm definitely landing in an ocean now. I'm going to wait until... I could have waited until about 4,000 meters. Jettison that heat shield, because I don't need that anymore. How is that splashing down? So, made it to orbit. Okay, so you're going to need roughly 800 meters per second delta V when on the moon to actually return from the moon. I would estimate about right around 3,000 meters per second to get to orbit, and another 800 meters per second to get to the moon. Let's see, and then 600 more to land. So when you're doing this, have about 22 to 2300 meters per second delta V when you're in your space stage in order to get to the moon and back. With make sure your TWR is above 1. Anyway, I made it orbit. 47 more science, 1,000 more funds, and she's now level 1, which is good. So now I'm going to upgrade this building right here. So now we can have 7 contracts. Upgrade that building right there. So now we have $40,000 to build stuff. Well, we actually don't have more than that, but right now it says we have $48,000 stuff. Now what I'm going to want to do is definitely take this one right here, but this one right here first. 45, because I want those science units. Alright, so this is right here, I think is the highest one I can get right now. Might be this one, but I will definitely want... Do I want this one right here, or this one right here? Liquid fuel, fuel tank adapter. I'm gonna get the fuel tanks. Because now I should be able to get better stuff. Using less parts, well, the better lander. Okay. So coming back here. I don't know why in the world I came back here. You're gonna see this happen a lot, honestly. Because I want to get to the moon. That's my goal, but I also need to set up my goal to be better. Explore the moon. Fly by the moon. Is there a land on the moon? No, there is not. So there's these tests right here, which you can test all these things. I'm not gonna do a bunch of test missions right now, but oh yeah, this runway is like super long. Anyway, so now I can get a lot more parts, 255 parts now. Come over here, take that guy off, put my two, because I like having two heat shields. That's just me though. You don't have to have two. I just like having two. Let's take both those off for now. Science. Add this boy right there. Put you right there. Put you right there. Move you guys to right there. You guys right there. Move you guys right there. Alright, utility. Electric charge acquired but not generated. I don't have any generation of electricity capables. So we do this. 3 of these. Alright, so we got more electrical charge, so we don't have to worry about that stuff. This right here is going to be our lander, basically. Alright, so now, because I want him to, actually, you know what, I don't have enough capabilities right now to do that, because I don't have enough communication stuff for that. So right here has 31. Alright, so yeah, they're the same part. It's just one of them is surface mounted. That goes like that instead of like that. Science. Alright. Engines. So now we have all these other engines. Fuel tanks. Alright. Engines. It says 1600 meters per second. Coupling. Do 4 of these. Fuel tanks. Command and control don't have anything. Engines again. These guys, because they have the gimbal. It's 1100 meters per second. And if I add this, it'll be 1800 meters per second. So that's 3000 right there. That's our transfer stage. Or our lander stage. So this right here should be able to land on the Mun if I get my coupling. Fuel tank. So this guy right here is a bit bigger fuel tank. It has less than this one right here. Actually, it has slightly more than this one right here. And I don't have the engines for that. 2, 3. this one right here I could have put around, but let's do this one right here again. And see, that's 404 meters per second. And coupling 4 of those engines, fuel tanks. So you went from like 60 something to 70 something, because yeah. Aerodynamics, because I want my payloads. So in realistic vacuums, this thing should be able to go a lot of places, like a lot of places. Would not be able to return from Eve's surface, but it should be able to get, if you do it right in the transfer menu window there. And I want these winglets right here. So now if I had fuel, the little fuel lines, I'd be able to connect these fuel lines from here to here, then do all 5 of these engines at the same time, and not have to worry about them coming out. Alright, and Valentina, but we're gonna go to the Mun, land on the Mun, launch, and make it back from the Mun. So now playing with this Delta V calculator, it is a bit newer for me, so I almost never go there, but I don't have enough force to get off the launch pad with these. Alright, you know, I was going to have those engines there, but looks like I have to go with these guys. Aerodynamics. Go with white now. I wish I had command and control stuff. It would make this a lot easier. But I should have enough thrust now. I think my first video, I only went to orbit, but I wanted to go all the way to the Mun. If you can make it to the Mun, you can make it to Minmus, just so you know. It actually requires less Delta V to get to and from Minmus than it does the Mun. Because Minmus is a lot easier to land on. Alright, so without these, with these rocket boosters, since I don't have any SAS control really, I tried to have to do this ascent a lot less efficient than I initially wanted to. Because, yeah, I tried to move and I didn't have the command wheels good enough. So yeah, it's that. So I don't know if you noticed, I started rotating and moving up and down. I don't want to do that. Unstable because I don't have structural support, structural struts right now, which are actually something that I would like to have, mostly because it's so I keep forgetting to go here. Mostly because I like having structural struts a lot better. So I don't know if you've noticed this, I'm starting to fall. So this thing does not have good enough well, stability. You guys higher up there. Structural, I don't have anything I can do with that. And we'll try this again. Hold on, I just think I can do a little bit better. Reverting your flight is always good, because it lets you do stuff you didn't think about before. So like I can do this right here, and now I'll have more thrust with those with better control, and I'll still have 200 meters per second right here. So 4,636 versus 4,672. So I have a little less delta V, but I'll end up having a little bit more because I'll be get higher up in the air, which is actually something I want. And seeing that the delta V still had a readout on the second stage meant that the boosters were going to run out before the fuel on the other one did, which is good. So hopefully I have enough gimbal control to keep everything controlled and good. So it shouldn't be spinning anymore. Already much better. if I had structural stuff, it would be a lot better because I would be able to prevent a lot of this spinning. So what's happening is the rockets are rotating and moving because they're not strongly supported. So that's what's happening, is the rockets don't have enough support for whatnot. So as they're thrusting, the pieces are moving, the bottoms. And again, I'm not doing the most efficient hook and ascent on this one. This one should have plenty of delta V to move into a better orbit. Alright, so now that I'm here, should be able to do this. And I will get to 100,000 kilometers, 100 kilometers. Click on prograde here. Now Valentina should get this ship to be a prograde, and then I can just slowly make my way up to Apoapsis, and I should have enough fuel. Hope to get this ship into orbit. Now, Minmus is a lot easier to get to, and a lot easier to land on. It's also a lot easier to whatchamacallit, it's on an incline, so people might think it's harder to get onto because it's on an incline, but it takes less delta V to get there, because it takes about 30 more delta V, 40 more delta V to get to that orbital height than it does with the MUN. And then takes about 200 meters per second to circularize, and then it doesn't take a whole lot to get into orbit or whatnot. So I think I don't know how much delta V it actually takes less than the MUN to get to and go from. Alright, so we're almost at 100,000 meters. Once we get to our point, I will drop it off. It's a lot easier. It's not easier. It's a lot more efficient to be trying to gain both vertical and horizontal speed at the same time. But right now I don't have the control capabilities to do that with this craft. So I need to get basically one at a time. I want stability assistance right here to keep it right around the 90-degree mark. So now this craft should be getting to orbit right there. So now a good way to find this is, it's going to be right there. So I'm going to want right about here, go prograde. To right about there. Right at my Apoapsis. come out map and do that. Rotate you here. I'm not going to be able to land on the Mun at this point, but I should be able to get to the Mun. And reach its orbit and get there around the same time. Now I won't be able to see the future this holds, but that should get me to the Mun right there, if I did my calculations correctly. I might have done it a little bit too early, but we'll never know. Well, we will, because we are about to get our conics. See, this is why we couldn't have communications. Well, now let's do this real quick. Extend antenna. There we go, now we have communications directly to. Yeah, this should get us to a Mun encounter. Should. Right now we're moving faster than the Mun is. But once we get up there, we should be moving slower than the Mun. And the Mun should catch up to us as we're heading back down and speeding up. I don't have enough to land and return from the Mun. So yeah, it's all done without maneuver nodes, target tracking, or anything like that. I should be right at the Mun's orbital line where we should be able to fly by. Which is what our little task that we accepted was a Mun flyby. But yeah, I'm wondering when will it say we're in a lunar orbit, and there we go, lunar orbit. Told you, right there. Said we would get it close by. Alright, now we can observe. This is all done without actually, you know, using the conics or stuff like that. Now, the Mun, I think, is the only body that I can get to without using maneuver nodes, because honestly, yeah, it's a lot of thought processes and stuff with the other ones. Why do I have three? Why do I have three thermostats? I don't know. Anyway, crew report. Have all my stuff. So I don't think I'm gonna get. So right now I am should be high above. Reset. Review data. Reset. And review data. Spice high over. Yeah. Reset. I think this is going to be still high above, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, when you're coming in for a lunar landing or lunar orbit, I quote Matt Lown a lot because he likes to go around 20,000 meters, but the Mun doesn't have an atmosphere, and its gravity isn't going to pull you in. So if you're in a stable orbit, you're golden. Okay, so as long as you have a parapsis above the highest point of 7,000 meters, then you're fine. So unless you've got a 3,000 meter long ship, 10,000 meters will be a perfect orbital height. And the reason why I say this is because it's better for you for gravity assist and that kind of thing to be at a higher, how should I say this? The closer you are to the surface, the better your gravity assist, or more effective your gravity assist will be. Now, you might want a lesser gravity assist than you would have, but I also think that you should have a decent, your most effective, cost-effective gravity assist will be closest to the planet or body. So for Kerbin, that'd be 70,000 meters, because that's the point where the game doesn't register there being an atmosphere anymore. For the Mun, as long as you're above 7,060 meters, which is the highest point, you'll be fine. And that highest point is high over the Mun, yeah. So it's still high over. So now I need to make sure I'm not on an escape trajectory from Kerbin. But I shouldn't be. I should actually be crashing into Kerbin's atmosphere. Oh, no, I'm not. Alright. So, I will go... Oh, man, look at that elliptical orbit. Man. That Mun encounter kind of messed up my orbit. And we're going to go retrograde. So what I don't like about having this right now is I can't auto warp. I can't warp to whatever point I want to warp to, because, well, I don't have patched conics in. And it won't let me do that. So now I want to go... It won't even tell me how close I am to the parapsis. So I'm gonna have to guesstimate based on about right there. Should get me close enough to the parapsis. Or if I do this, my new parapsis. Meters. Let's go with 55,000 meters. And I should be able to change one of these, reset this bad boy. Reset that bad boy. Observe, I should be high above Kerbin. Yep. High above Kerbin. Oh no, I sent it instead of keeping it. Oh well. Now I should be able to do this. Retract this antenna. And speed up. And one. I don't want to be coming in too fast, too hot. $90,000, $80,000. So once I get to 55,000. I should be able to alright. Once I get to the 55,000 or start going up again, I'm going to use my rocket's ability, or what fuel I have in there, to try to whatnot. But you notice I don't have to do anything with this. I'm not moving it up and down, it's just automatically moving. The reason why I want to do it on the upside instead of downside is one, I lose more speed going up than I do down, but also I'm not going to risk dropping my parapsis too low. Doing it that way. So now that brought this from up here to there. So now I know that this is going to be a lot, how should I say, it's going to be another long dredge. Yep, we saw that, 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 we saw that. And money, we're back up to 200,000, which means we can get better stuff. And science, how much science? 31 science, because I transmitted science instead of keeping it. Which, I guess I could transmit all the science. But, if you look at it, transmitting with science. I only get 24, but if I keep it, I get 50, so almost double. But I should be able to unlock the stuff I need to actually be able to get to the MUN now. Oh man, I'm gonna get to the MUN today. But yeah. Da, 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 da. I don't. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna stick with the career mode and do everything with this one save file, career mode for now at least. I don't think I'm going to do a sandbox for anything or science mode because this is basically science mode. But science mode's a little bit easier because science mode you can just unlock the stuff from the science tree from doing stuff. Um, basically start at the same parts, but you don't have to worry about funds. You can build a craft. I might just build a craft in the 30 parts to show you how you can get to orbit with just the solid rocket boosters, the first ones, and the command pod. Without being able to decouple anything. So I could show that. It's a matter of staging and everything that you could have to do. People have done videos where they went all the way and landed on the MUN with just solid rocket boosters. Which that takes a lot of math and planning and stuff like that. But basically, what I'd have to do is parachutes on the boosters, and then the boosters themselves would have to be put out in a circular formation where the outer is burned and the inner more and the inner more, continuously like that until they get to orbital speed, and then you'd have your deorbiting booster. It's a people have done it, but I just don't want to do it because I think that's kind of cheatish when you can do it, but I don't know. I just don't like it. I like having actual stages. I mean, you'd recover the entire thing. I guess you'd be able to get, once you get far enough in this game, you'd be able to build massive craft and then make it a lot easier to take off somewhere that you only requires 600 units of Delta V instead of the whole few thousand. Because there is a Mooner land site. Okay, I think something happened. I don't have any control over my craft right now, which is a bad thing. Because if I don't have any control over it, I have electrical charge. like this. Retrograde. Staging. Docking. Yeah, game glitched out on me. Well, I should be able to just do this though. Yeah, should be able to click on that to deploy the chute. But, oh man, I hate it when the game glitches out like that. I can't roll, I can't do anything. It's annoying the living crap out of me when I can't mess with my, when my angle is just slightly off. I don't know if you guys can tell, but the right side is right on the 5 degree and left side is right around 8 degrees, just slightly crooked. I like having it directly on, and it's weird. Probably just because I've been playing the game for a while, and the PlayStation's been on for a while. Because I've been watching, probably watched like 3 hours of a TV show um, before I started playing this. So my PlayStation's been on a little while, and yeah. But I should be able to land this thing again. Just have to be careful with where I am doing and what I am doing. I guess I'm not going to be doing a lunar landing on this one. I'll do a lunar landing tomorrow, or next video. Maybe tomorrow, maybe not. Um, we'll see how it goes. I think this is going to be my last one. It's like 3 in the morning right now. And I normally stay up to like 7 in the morning because I normally work the night shift, but I am on my days off and I like to relax. And the game messing out like this, I think I'm going to have to stop playing it for a while in order to let the game reset and whatnot. So I don't think it'll fix with a just recovering the vessel and whatnot. Wait. I still have everything else. I just cannot control the ship. Yep, I don't know what's going on or why it's doing this. Let's see if I can. No, I can't. So anyway, if you want to know, like if you're transferring fuel, you gotta do like this. You gotta click on the 2 parts, pin one of them up there, and it'll say like in and out for transferring fuel and monopropellant and stuff like that. But I mean, this is really annoying me how angled this thing is starting to get. But yeah, sorry I wasn't talking for like I don't know how long that was. I don't normally talk when I'm playing this game. I normally just play it and learning to talk while playing is something different. Anyway, let's go back up here. So she's been in space 3 days ish. Yeah, I'm sure if I could, saved and loaded, I would be able to get this Kerbal to do what she needs to do. But and be able to, man, look at that angle now. There's no way you can't tell there's an angle there. But yeah. So yeah, this is gonna take me a while. I'm gonna have to revert this entire flight more than likely. Oh man, if I have to, I'll be pissed off. Yeah. Right. Sorry, I'm looking at my Facebook as well, just to see what's going on while I'm waiting on this stuff. Because honestly, this is like I said, this is the most boring part. It's just waiting on it to return. And yeah. Yeah. If you see, I mean, I guess I can go over some more of it. There's not much else I can go over with the nav ball and everything. So. What in the world was that? Well, I don't know. Alright, so if you press like the big old, I forget, I don't know what this button is. It's a sensor button. It does that and makes your entire video screen. And if you press L3, R3, it changes your view. And view again. Then view again. View again. I don't remember which view was which. So this is your orbital return. Auto, free, orbital, chase, locked, auto. Auto's the one we normally have. But if you notice, our app reps has dropped by like 200,000 kilometers, 200 kilometers that time. I'm just annoyed that that there's issues with this. I don't know if you heard that, me button mashing and whatnot, annoying the living crap out of me that I can't. trying to figure out where this is. Oh, okay. Makes sense. So, yeah. Sorry, I was looking up to see where my brother was. He just moved. Yeah, I think 2.5 hours of playing, live streaming this is enough. I don't know if there's enough, really. Whatnot. Whatchamacalliting it. What am I thinking? If only everyone knew, right? Yeah, I don't want to have to reload this entire game and have to show you guys that. So when I open up this game again and start playing this save file, it'll be with Vista. And I'm only going to play the save file. I'm not going to create another one and play off of it. And everything's going to be streamed. So this entire save file is going to be streamed for people to watch. So next video, we'll be landing on the Mun and Minmus. I'm definitely going to get both those. So once you get a Mun lander, you can get a Minmus lander as well. It's no doubt about it. And then hopefully I'll get to the science base unlocked so that I can get my science a lot easier. But next thing that's getting unlocked, so upgrading. Next two things getting upgraded are going to be my, I forget what it's called. This one where it allows me to do tracking and stuff and follow where my Kerbals are, and all that stuff. So it's tracking station. That's it. And then and also the Kerbal Living Center, so that I can start doing EBAs and whatnot. Yeah, sorry, I normally eat a little bit too when I'm playing. So yeah. I have no clue why in the world that thing stopped working. Man, I can't even use my... Oh, I can use that. Why can't I do that? Like, I have electrical charge. I don't even know. Alright. So I don't think it'll be in this orbital thing, but it should be in the next one, where we drop enough to get into and land, which hopefully... Hold on. Let me try this right here and see. Well, I'll have to see it in a little bit. I don't want to lose this parachute just yet. Once I get above whatnot, I need to see if my staging still works. I don't know why I didn't think of checking this before. But once we get back up to the 70,000 meter mark, that if it's actually going to let me get to the 70,000 meter mark. It should. Should get me there. Although I'm not 100% sure if it will. So pissed off that I don't have capabilities to. Now I'm not sure it will. Should. I need to see if my staging works. And if I release my parachute in space, I should be able to just disarm it. Right there. And if I can't, well, I've got 2 other parachutes. So quick saving and quick loading might fix my ability, but I can't just quick save and quick load my thing and expect it to be alright, because if I can't land this craft, then Valentina dies. And that's just that. I don't want that. So Valentina is my favorite of the Kerbal nuts. Look at that. The sun rising over Kerbin as my ship goes by. Which I might actually. Save that screenshot. Yeah, I had to save the. Sorry if it cut out a little bit there. I was saving the screenshot because I like that screenshot. Alright, so my staging does not work. Good to know. So yeah, staging does not work because I tried doing the staging, but it wouldn't work. It wouldn't give me my staging stuff. And before it says that you can access stages while in maneuver mode. I know, because I did it all the time. But this right here should. I'll play this one first once I get to the point. Bring it down, bring it down. Valentina's just having a time of her life right now. Other Kerbins get scared. They're normally scared. Valentina's fearless. That's why I like her. I might actually be coming in a little bit too hot for this. So I might have to revert flight in order to get this one to work. Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys noticed this. I am doing this. So I should be able to just click on those things and deploy them all. around the same time, shortly after each other. With this one right here first. So that one's that one, that one's that one, this one's the nose one. Alright, so your drogue chutes, you can release at a higher whatnot. They slow you down enough for your actual shoots. So the bigger ones, the blue ones are your actuals, and the yellow ones are your drogue chutes. Now I don't think you don't have a nose drogue chute. I'm pretty sure you don't. I don't know. So that chutes are normally, people use drogue chutes mostly when landing on Duna or on Kerbin to slow themselves down without actually forcing them to nosedive. Um, but I don't use parachutes that often unless it's coming back to Kerbin. So, that being said, I don't normally use drogue chutes. So I don't know if there's an actual drogue chute for the nose. But that's just my stuff. I go to surface because that's where I want to be. Yeah, I might not have enough slow down for that. I might, because I'm at 5 degrees right now, so I might be able to slow down fast enough. Though I might not. We will figure this out. See, you could have, crafts that are pre-created and fly those guys too, because I just don't like using them. I like building my own stuff, and that's just my personal opinion, though. There are other ways I'd be able to do stuff. I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to make it. I'm like 90% sure that this is not good enough. I'm like 90% sure that this craft is going to crash into the water or mountain and not survive. I hope I land in water. It gives me more time to slow down. Might actually have enough. No, I guess I do have enough. I'll be fine. She will be fine, as long as I can deploy these chutes. Yep, I am fine. landing on grass. Not landing on in the water this time. And let's do jettison those heat shields. And they slammed into the ground. Now you can't EVA because you're not on the surface astronaut complex. But I should be able to upgrade both of those. The astronaut complex and there we go. And basically 3 hours for this. So yeah, I think that's long enough for a video. Me just sitting on here playing. Honestly, it didn't feel like 3 hours. It was a lot less than that. But oh man, I really need to. It feels like, yeah, a lot less than 3 hours. But obviously, I have my elapsed time of 2 hours, 49 minutes, and 31 seconds of whatnot. So yeah, I still can't control this thing, so it annoys the living crap out of me. I don't need that anymore. And recover. I could have grabbed more science, but didn't want to. But I should have plenty of science. I'm gonna upgrade a bunch of stuff, unlock a bunch of stuff, and then that is going to be the end of the video. Yeah. I don't know what to do. So 168 science are just flying by. 278,000 funds. Gain 2 more experience. Yeah. So like I said, we need to upgrade this first. 150,000. I need that. And this right here, 75. Yeah, it's fine. So now we can do EVAs, and we can do actually maneuver nodes and whatnot. So I don't really care about this one right now. I want that because I want better stability assistance. And I'll want this one right here, but I also want better electricity. here. So, oh yeah, I definitely want this one right here, because I have ladders and storage units and stuff like that. I also want this one, and I don't care about that. This will allow me to bring more. Well, you know what? If I have if I have this guy, I'll be able to bring. This is not the whatnot. This is a DLC part, so I'm gonna try not to. But if I have this guy, I'll be closer to getting this guy. So oh yeah, I can get up to here. I just can't get to here right now. If I get this guy, I'll be closer to getting to this guy, and I won't need this thing right here. But I need this guy right here, the structural. I don't care about that one. So getting that one, and I guess I could get better fuel tanks and better rockets, but I'm fine right now. I want my electrical capabilities and lights, which I always forget to put these things on craft once I unlock them. So hopefully I can actually start putting them on, but I need to get lights, better lights, and then I can get this guy right here. So I guess now we have something that can make craft. But yeah, so I'm gonna click here. I don't care about ferrying tourists. Anything science-based around, yep. Explore the Mun, which means we should be just orbiting. Yep. And I'm not ferrying any tourists anywhere right now. For flybys or... Yeah, I can get some, but it doesn't really give me much money for that. So I don't care about the tourists right now. Well, that's that. So $105,000 because I accepted some contracts. So they gave me advances for that. $105,000, 738. I have level 2, level 2, level 2, level 1, level 2, level 1, level 1, level 2, and level 1. Yeah, see. I can't upgrade anything right now. Like, I should be able to upgrade this. No, this right here. I'm not going to because I need more than 25,000 just for wiggle room. And I can always change. If I click on the flagpole, I can always just change my flag. But I want that flag. I like that flag. So I'm gonna clear this out so that it's all gone. And that'll be it. I will see you guys in the next video, just shy of 3 hours.